Welcome to another video for Unit 4, Plant and Animal Structures. This time we're going to be looking at Lesson 2, Wetland Plants, inside of your student reader. Remember that anything that's highlighted or written in blue is something that you should be highlighting in your student reader. Feel free to pause the video at any point to make sure that you are catching up and highlighting everything you're supposed to. So the first part of Section 2 is called Watching the Wetlands Breathe. We're starting on page 16. In 2013, a scientist named Chris Helzer set up a photography project in a wetlands region in Nebraska. The goal of the project was to capture images of the wetlands over time. Scientists wanted to see changes that they might otherwise miss. Helzer was surprised to see that one little wetland pool of water kept changing size. The pool was filled with exposed groundwater. The pool started out full in the morning, it dried up throughout the day, but then it would fill with water again the next morning. Looking through his photographs, Helzer realized that his change in water levels happened in a regular daily pattern. He realized that he was watching one part of the water cycle in action, the movement of water from Earth's surface back to the atmosphere. Watching the repeating pattern of dropping and rising water levels in a wetland is fascinating, Helzer wrote in a blog post about his photography project. It's as if we're watching the Earth breathe, which, in some ways, we are. The plant, a system. The small pool of water kept changing in size because of two related processes. The first process was evaporation, the process of liquid water changing into water vapor. As liquid groundwater is heated by the sun, its molecules speed up and spread out, turning into a gas. The other process was transpiration. Remember that transpiration is the evaporation of water from plant leaves. Transpiration moves water through plants from roots to their leaves and then back to the atmosphere. In order to understand transpiration, it is important to first know about the structures of a plant. Structure refers to the way in which parts are put together to form a whole. A plant's structure allows it to function. Function is the normal action of something or how something works. Think of a plant as a system. Each of its structures has a specific function. When all of the structures function the way they are supposed to, the plant will be able to get what it needs to survive. A plant's structures. For example, all plants have roots. The roots help to anchor the plant against the forces of wind and moving water. The roots also keep the plant upright and balanced. They also gather water and nutrients and transport them to the rest of the plant. The stem supports the leaves, fruits, and flowers. It also transports water and nutrients between the roots and the rest of the plant. The stem also absorbs some water, although not as much as the roots. The leaves have the most chloroplasts to help create food for the plant through photosynthesis. Transpiration. Leaves also have structures that allow them to take in carbon dioxide from the environment and release oxygen. Plants are constantly exchanging gases, in the same way that people are always breathing. To do this, they have pores called stomata that open and close to take in the gases. When the stomata are open, some water evaporates back into the environment through transpiration. After plants absorb precipitation from the ground through their roots and the stem carries it to the leaves, some of the water evaporates back to the atmosphere. This is why transpiration is part of the water cycle. The amount of water that a plant transpires depends on several factors. Light, heat, humidity, and wind all affect how much a plant will transpire. For example, when it is really hot, plants often pull in a lot of water through their roots and release it into the atmosphere. They do this to try to cool off. The type of soil the plant is growing in also affects transpiration. For example, plants that live in dry soils might close their stomata during the hottest time of the day. They do this to try to keep that moisture so they don't dry out too much. In the wetlands, there is plenty of water, so plants continue to transpire during the hot times of the day. This is why the small pool of water in Nebraska wetlands would dry up every afternoon. Some of the water evaporated into the atmosphere, and the rest of it was transpired by the plants. During the nighttime, temperatures cooled off, and so the transpiration slowed down. This allowed the pool to refill with groundwater. Now that you're done reading Section 2, go ahead and answer the Section 2 questions in your notebook, and check out the video to help you out.